Coastal Carolina takes down the Ragin Cajuns. It's Locked On Sunbelt.
You are Locked On Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team faster and for free. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Terms and conditions apply. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Hopefully everybody had a great weekend. We'll do a Sunbelt baseball recap. And the South Alabama Jaguars QB competition seems to be wide open. We'll tell you about that and some more spring football recaps. We do have Warhawks coach Bryant Vincent lined up. We're still looking for more for this week. Whereas all the spring games, except maybe the Cajuns, are done. We may have one more, but we'll see if we can get all these coaches lined up for this week. All right, so the big series in, I guess, Kentucky and Tennessee would be the big one, nationally, but the Cajuns and Coastal, a top 25 matchup. You don't get that very often in the Sun Belt, and it really went Coastal's way. They take 2 out of 3, and the bats were just too much for the Cajuns. The Cajuns starting pitching, I'm going to chalk it up to being nervous, but wasn't very good. They didn't like the strike zone on Friday. Saturday was a little bit better. And, well, I actually had a doubleheader on Saturday. So Andrew Herman went like an inning and 2/3. David Christie was outstanding. In fact, Andrew Herman may have gone longer. David Christie was outstanding. Chase Morgan was the best. Carson Fluno lasted 9 batters. Coastal Carolina scored, 9, 12, 21, 27 runs in the series. All right. Is some of that the ballpark? Is some of that Coastal Carolina? Yeah, they're a good hitting ball club. All right. Cajuns, didn't hit the first game, hit the second and third games, and kind of let the third game slip away. So let's do a recap. Cajuns get on the board on the first pitch, and it's like, we're off and running. And it was 1-0. John Taylor hitting the first pitch out, 1-0. Connor Higgs almost hit one out as well, but it was only 1-0. We go to the bottom of the first. Andrew Herman has walked like 15 guys in 47 and 2/3 innings and just could not find the strike zone. A couple of borderline calls, but he walks a leadoff batter, Antonacci, which isn't great, but then gets a hard smash to Amity at third, and Amity can't make the play. So instead of a double play, fielded cleanly, and 2 outs, nobody on, you get 2 on and nobody out. They end up scoring 3 runs, and then Amity with another error, and they score 2 more runs. So instead of a 1-0 lead, you have a 5-1 deficit. Cajuns had chances to get back in the game and could not. David Christie did a really good job of eating up some innings. Let's see. Herman, I was right. Herman went an inning and 2/3, 8 runs, 5 earned, 4 walks, and a punch out, scattered 5 hits, but again, an inning and 2/3. I'm just going to chalk it up to nervous to what I'm going to do. I know, Cajuns fans didn't like the strike zone, a couple of questionable calls, but really had issues finding the strike zone. Also, to be honest, the camera is right behind the pitcher, so a little bit tough to see where the catcher is catching the baseball before he tries to frame it. David Christie was yeoman work. 6 1/3 innings, 1 unearned run on 3 base hits. 4. He walked 4, struck out 4. It was so bad. Kyle DeBarge had he had 2 errors on 1 play. He bobbled a ball and threw it away. And so that made the runner on first reach, but because he threw it away, the runner on second advanced. That's how bad the game was for the Cajuns. Okay, so Coastal takes the first ball game 9-1. Second game, Cajuns score another run, although I think they had runners on at second and third and 1 out and only got the one run. So it's one run. It's 1-0 again. And when you know it, Coastal gets more runs, bottom of the first, I believe, 3 runs. Let me see if I get this right. They scored 3 runs. Now, the difference between this ball game, Saturday's ball game, the first game on Saturday was a doubleheader because of weather coming on Sunday. Because of that, the difference between those 2 games is that the Cajuns started scratching across runs. They had chances in that ball game on Friday to scratch across runs, and they could not. The other difference was Coastal Carolina kept on getting 2 outruns all game, all series long. They did a great job of getting 2 outruns, and the Cajuns struggled in that respect. But in this one, Cajuns get 1 in the second. Coastal gets 2 in the second. So it's still 5-2. Cajuns get 1 in the third, and Coastal gets 1 in the third. So it's 6-3. Then the Cajuns get 2 in the fourth to make it 6-5. And all of a sudden, we got a ball game. And in comes LP Langevin. And they couldn't hit him. And he has a little bit of a slider and maybe a cutter, if that's the same thing. But it's basically 94 miles per hour and straight at you. And maybe this is the first time I've noticed it. I've certainly watched Cajuns on TV, but all the Cajuns do the wrist thing, right? They got the iWatch or whatever it is, the Apple Watch, whatever it is on the wrist, showing the signals from Gunnar Leger, not Langevin. Jose Torres is basically calling the pitches. Now, there's not a huge repertoire, right? I mean, they may say fastball outside or fastball inside or a little bit higher, a little bit lower, but I mean, it's basically a fastball and a slider. And so I found that interesting, and Langevin was outstanding. And we were at softball all weekend, and Saturday was a long day because you get there at noon so you can watch the baseball game and not miss any of the softball game or baseball game. And basically it comes down to the Cajuns bullpen versus the Coastal bullpen. And in game 1, the Cajuns bullpen came through with Langevin. Then the Coastal Carolina bullpen fell apart in the 8th. Cajuns tie the ball game on a wild pitch and score 2 on sac flies, and they're up 8-6. Cajuns at one point were down 5-2 and looking like they're going to get swept potentially, and now they win game 2 8-6. All right, now we go to game 3, and now it kind of looks like Coastal Carolina is bounced back. This was a whale of a ball game, by the way. Coastal wins at 12-10. Cajuns were up 1-0. Carson Fluno actually got out of the first, but couldn't get out of the second. Gives up 3 runs. Cajuns come back. Kyle DeBarge, who, goodness gracious, I think he's played every inning of every game this year, cramped up in the middle or at the end of the second game. And they not only did they keep him in, they gave him a banana. They came out, not Gatorade, but they gave him half a banana to eat out there. He was struggling, but he was okay because he came out. He doubled in the first. He was all right. And then he homered in the third. And it's a 4-3 ball game. Coastal ties it up with a run in the third. Cajuns with 2 in the fourth. Coastal Carolina with 2 in the fourth. And then the Cajuns put 4 runs in the 5th inning to give them a 10-6 lead. And it didn't last 6 outs. Coastal gets 2 in the 5th, 3 in the 6th. They had 1 in the 8th. A bunch of home runs in this ball game. Right? Cajuns, Luke Uhas hits a home run. Kyle DeBarge hits a home run. Connor Higgs had 2 home runs. And Trey LaFleur hit a home run. Antonacci hit a home run. And Graham Brown hit 2 home runs. That's where a couple of questions will come into play. Why are you pitching to Brown a third time? He almost hit another home run. It ended up being a double. And then you got Blake Barthol hitting a double with first base open. A couple different decisions. But at the same time, we even brought this up with Gary Gilmore. You know, sometimes you can do everything right and it not work out for you. And sometimes you can do things wrong and it does work out for you. The relievers for Coastal, not a whole lot of experience, at least not pitching wise, on Sunday or on Saturday, game 2. Sorry. Some of them could not break a pane of glass, and the Cajuns' first 2 batters lined out, smashed, lined out. What can you do? And then I think it was either Antonacci or let me see who hits at the bottom of the lineup. Maybe I guess Ty Dooley, maybe. with Alexander on at first, that was a problem. They walked, the backup left fielder who got a couple of rallies going in game 2 on Sunday. Twice he hits 197. But I think Dooley hit like a seeing eye ground ball base hit between first and second. Didn't hit it well, just hit them where they ain't. So Cajuns with a couple of lineouts, Coastal with a seeing eye ground ball. Cajuns had a shot in the 9th. We'll say that. 2nd and 3rd. And Weckmeyer blew one past Duncan Pastore and blew one past Caleb Stelly. So the Cajuns had a shot to tie things up with a base hit. And Coastal Carolina blew them away. So great series. Turns out the Cajuns end up going up 10 spots. Could you imagine if they actually won the series? They'd be a top 40 club. I don't know what it'll be like, Monday morning, but Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, they went from 55 heading into the series basically to 45. So the who and the where matter maybe more than the what. They went from about 46 to 55, winning 5 out of 6. But that was against ULM, Grambling, lost to La Tech, and sweeping Marshall. They lose 2 out of 3 at Coastal, and they move up 10 spots. So I think they're in good shape. Couple questionable decisions, but also I'm going to chalk it up to experience for the starting pitching because it just wasn't very good. So hopefully they were nervous, and that'll be a good experience for when they go on the road. I mean, they went on the road to Texas State and did okay. Let's see what they do against Georgia Southern and Troy. Troy's another small ballpark, and see if they can react a little bit better, because let's be straight, as good as the Cajuns lineup can be, they're going to go as far as the pitching and the defense. The defense didn't play very well either. All right, let's take a timeout. When we come back, we'll recap the rest of the Sun Belt and see where everybody is. Cajuns lose a series, but I'm not sure outside of Coastal how many teams gained ground. We will do that after I tell you about LinkedIn Jobs. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just a job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. LinkedIn knows that small businesses are wearing so many hats and might not have the time or resources to hire, and 2.5 million small businesses are using LinkedIn for hiring. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Let's check out who won. Let's see if we can figure this out quickly. We can do the Sunday matchups. South Alabama actually takes 2 out of 3 from Texas State. James Madison, South Alabama beat Texas State on Sunday 3-1. James Madison doubles up Georgia Southern 8-4. App State. Okay, it does say App State and Arkansas State 12-12 and 10, a drop dead time, and this was a ridiculous ball game, as you might think 12-12 would be. Arkansas State scores 6 in the 5th to lead it 8-3. App State scores 3 in the 7th. Arkansas State scores 1. App State scores 2 in the 8th. Arkansas State scores 3. And App State scores 4 in the 9th to tie it up. They played a 10th, but App State had to get back to lovely Boone, North Carolina, so they finish up with a tie. All right. And let's see what else happened. Old Dominion all over Marshall, 12-2. ULM salvages a Sunday ball game, game 3 over Southern Miss, 5-1. Southern Miss wins the series. And Troy takes down Georgia State 10-7. So let's see. We're using Sunbelt Syndicate here. but he hasn't posted Sunday's action just yet. A little slacking on that. Well, I can't go through Fridays. I won't go through Fridays and Saturdays. So we'll just go through the standings and see where we are right now. Cajuns holding a 4-game lead on Coastal Carolina. Cajuns 15-3, first series loss of the year. And it's been a minute since they've lost 2 out of 3 at that. Coastal Carolina, Troy, and Southern Miss all 11-7. So they're all in second place, 4 games behind the Cajuns. Cajuns still get Troy and Southern Miss. Southern Miss coming into Lafayette this weekend. One would think it would be a huge crowd, but that's been an issue as far as I'm concerned this season. James Madison 10-8, so they swept. We can look at it that way. James Madison swept the series. They won 3 in a row. They're 10-8. Georgia State lost the series. I think we knew that to Troy, 10-8. Old Dominion won their series. They're 9-9. Georgia Southern got swept. Ouch. They're 9-9. App State 8-9-1. Here comes South Alabama. They're 8-10, but all of a sudden playing a little bit better. We'll see if they can make a run. Certainly want to get into the tournament, and they are sitting right now at 10th. And they're like 1 game behind 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th. So there's not a whole lot. Like I said, Old Dominion's 9-9, and they are tied for 7th. South Alabama is 8-10, and they're 10th. Texas State 7-11, ULM 6-12, Marshall 6-12, Arkansas State 4-13-1. I do always get a kick out of ties in baseball. Let's do a quick preview of what is coming up. We'll skip if there's any weekday games, midweek games, I guess. Let's see here. You do have Troy at Coastal. That's a big series, certainly, right? Both tied for second. See if Georgia Southern can get it going right back in the right direction, hosting Marshall. And you do have South Alabama and James Madison. That's a big one. Both teams, South Alabama can get closer to feeling a little bit safer heading into the, being able to play in the Sun Belt Conference Tournament, also RPI-wise. And the Cajuns, as I mentioned, hosting Southern Miss. So quickly, let's go over. Let's see if we can go over the RPI, where we are. See if it gives it to us. It does. All right. So the Cajuns right now, actually, how about that? They've moved up to 44. They were 45 before I started it, but now this is on WarrenNolan.com. They've moved up to 44. Also, probably what happened, LSU may have moved up to a quad 1 loss. That's a big deal. Coastal Carolina is 13 after beating the Cajuns. Troy 72, Southern Miss 51, and James Madison continues to have that good RPI 23. And let's be straight, James Madison has a shot right now. You got to think they got a better shot of getting in than Troy does. Troy's 28-14, James Madison 24-15. And one is RPI 23 and Troy's RPI 72. I mean, we could check out Troy's schedule. We mentioned they got Coastal Carolina. They got the Cajuns. So their RPI is going to go up. They got Coastal Carolina. They got the Cajuns. They're actually playing Alabama. That's big. Texas State's not going to help. And they got JMU. So, I mean, the season is winding down quickly. There's 3 more. Or no, I guess there's a month left. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3 of the 4 series, Troy, if Troy wins 3 of the 4 series, they're probably going to be in good shape. They could be in good shape. So as I mentioned, the Cajuns lose 2 out of 3, but they moved up to 44. If they had won 2 of 3 again, they'd probably be sitting 35. Southern Miss 51, James Madison 23. Georgia State still hanging in there, 66. ODU is up to 60. Georgia Southern's fallen to 67. App State 81. And this is where South Alabama can get themselves back into it. Playing James Madison, they're 68, and James Madison is 23. Huge series for the Jaguars in Mobile this weekend. Bringing up the rear, Texas State's got to be a disappointing season, 119. ULM 150, Marshall 185, and Arkansas State down to 197. A promising start has gone in the wrong direction for the Red Wolves. All right, we went a little long. We'll do midweek later on. I just wanted to see a preview. So you got a couple. I mean, you got 3 big series. I mean, they're all big, but Cajuns hosting Southern Miss, JMU at South Alabama, and Troy at Coastal are all huge. Huge. All right, let's take a timeout. When we come back, how many completions did the returning quarterback for the South Alabama Jaguars complete in spring practice? You might be surprised. We will do that after I tell you about FanDuel and Lafayette Travel. There we go. It's playoff time in the NBA and NHL, and baseball's in full swing, and FanDuel is your place to bet on every game. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150, win or lose. Bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks on all apps that are on an all app that is safe, secure, and easy to use. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet an automatic win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And Lafayette Travel. Escape to Lafayette, Louisiana, the happiest city in America, where every visit is uniquely seasoned with unforgettable experiences. Savor world-class cuisine, including mouth-watering boudin, savory gumbo, and piping hot crawfish, seasoned to perfection. Experience lively festivals that celebrate Lafayette's one-of-a-kind heritage. Explore magnificent trails that lead you through our rich cultural history and breathtaking natural beauty. Discover the untouched purity of our cypress and tupelo swamps, where you can paddle past nesting birds and sunbathing alligators. Immerse yourself in the vibrant rhythms of Cajun and Zydeco music that can be heard any night of the week. Whether your passion is for our rich cultural history, the bustling culinary scene, or the distinctive blend of Cajun and Zydeco music, the happiest city in America has something for everyone. Start planning your adventure at LafayetteTravel.com/season. Let me check out one thing because I think it is coming up. It is Festival International, and that is this week. It is a lot of fun. It's a lot of free music. It's good food. It's a good time. Come on down. It's wide open, and it's a lot of good shows. All right, and that's here in Lafayette, I think beginning Thursday. Was that the 24th? Or did it say Wednesday? It is Wednesday. It starts the 24th. All right. All right. So we had a bunch of spring games. I guess Jalen Rayner for Arkansas State balled out. Cole Swindell played for Georgia Southern had like a post-spring game concert. That's awesome. All right. Cajun spring game is this week. It's indoors and not open to the public because of construction of the stadium. JMU, Bob Chesney, they finished up theirs. Obviously, they have a quarterback competition. They had a cool stuff where people who gave the NIL were able to call plays. So I think that's very cool. If you didn't throw it to the tight end, I don't know what you're doing. All right. You and I can't be friends. But then I read about what happened at the South Alabama game. And you get the headline, offense going to be vanilla. Okay. Not sure I'm too worried about that, right? You're not going to show anything. I even heard Cole Kubelik discuss what Lane Kiffin was doing. They don't even want, second and third string talent to get out there saying, oh, these guys are good. Let's put them in the portal. So they just, did activities like tug of war or something like that. They didn't even have a practice. Meanwhile, a game. So and that was the Major Applewhite quote. Let's see what he said. What I wanted, and this is from our buddy Craig Stevenson, AL.com. What I wanted to see today specifically was just be vanilla. We don't need to show anything. Call it from a napkin. I just want to see these guys play fast, use our base fundamentals, communicate, get plays in and out, get plays communicated on the field with each other, and just play fast. Just continue to make base calls while we're out there that we can operate with. Robbie Zell is the offensive coordinator. I tied both of Rob's hands behind his back and cut them off in terms of what he could call. And Will did the same thing. I was pleased with the effort they gave. It's sometimes hard for the average fan to go out there and watch it because it's so vanilla and watered down. but I was proud of the intensity the guys had out there on the field. Okay, so a lot of yada, 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 but that's basically expected. You're not going to get too much, although you could, I mean, everyone has trick plays. You can do trick plays just to show them, but not, like nobody has a flea flicker or a, double reverse pass play just to get the fans in. But okay, that's what you want. Here's the problem, though. All three quarterbacks on the roster played Saturday, combined and complete 13 of 41 passes for 166 yards and 1 touchdown. If these plays are vanilla, the offense is vanilla and the defense is vanilla, 13 of 41 ain't great, Bob. And then Gio Lopez, who got a little playing time last year and looks to be the part, entered the spring as the front runner to start in 2024. He did not complete any of his 13 passes and was intercepted once. Did not complete any of his 13 passes. We can't do a rollout dump off. We can't do a slant. We can't do a in and out, something just to get him something. Oh, my goodness. Redshirt sophomore Bishop Davenport, last year's scout team quarterback, completed 4 of 13 passes for 41 yards and was picked off twice, but did break loose for a 55-yard touchdown run. True freshman Jared Hollins was easily the most productive of the three, though he was facing mostly the second-team defense, completing 9 of 15 passes, 125 yards, and a touchdown, including a 25-yard touchdown to Andrew Bench, plus a interception. So, it does appear that the South Alabama quarterback situation is up for grabs, which it really hasn't been for the last 3 seasons. They brought in Jake Bentley, who was among the nation's leader in career passing yardage. And, oh, goodness. And then they went to Carter Bradley. Sorry. And then they went to Carter Bradley, who stuck around for 2 years and set all kinds of records. Experienced, father NFL coach, and just, born to play the game and played it very well. Was banged up last year. I know last year didn't go as planned. But now you're kind of now breaking in the new guys. Oh, boy. Didn't complete 1 of 13 passes. Yeesh. Had a good bowl game. Had to go play at Troy. Actually didn't play that badly, but that's a tough spot. I'm a little nervous all of a sudden. I mean, if Craig said, well, all of his passes were like downfield and 40 yards or more, well, then be like, okay. But none of the 13 passes completed. And you told me you were vanilla on offense and vanilla on defense? Yeesh. Are we chalking that up to nerves? Which can't be good because if he's nervous in spring ball, what's going to happen when the lights are on? Is it August 31st? Is that opening day? Whew. So, I mean, do we want to check out the standings? Let me check out just so I can remember where we are in terms of, predictions for the season. So, Texas State's going to be 1. I would think Arkansas State would probably pick 2, perhaps. I think the Cajuns are probably going to be better than we think. And then Southern Miss is 4th. I don't know where Troy is going to be. Troy is a wild card right now. But if ULM is bringing up the rear, I'm not sure South Alabama is that far behind. I know they got a lot of talent, but if the quarterback can't complete a pass, that's going to be a problem. All right. That's going to be an issue. I would be concerned. I mean, even if he went 5 of 13, I'd be concerned. Well, it's just spring, Dave. Exactly. Just throw the ball and complete it. We're just playing catch. I can't get the other way, I would say. So I just saw a highlight. Archie Manning had a big ball game for Texas. Well, he threw to a receiver that was opened by like 15 yards. I could be wrong, but that seems like he's just playing catch. Now, it was downfield 30, 40 yards. Maybe it was even 50 yards. But he was open by 15 yards. Nobody was in breathing distance of him. So I can't get that excited about it. Of course, it was completed because he was wide open. Now, yeah, that's got to be an issue with that. So we're doing a few things this weekend the plan is to be at the Cajuns spring practice. I think it is open to the media. Although we're playing it, we're going to be on the sideline, so I'm not exactly sure what great view we're going to see. It's much easier to see when you're in the press box. But obviously that's not available. All right. Thanks for tuning in. All right. By the way, Cajun softball, 87 straight Sun Belt Series victories. I don't think that's played up enough. They sweep Southern Miss. Yeah, duly noted. All right. Again, Bryant Vincent is scheduled to join us, ULM coach, I think on Tuesday. And we'll see if we can get anybody else moving forward. Again, we got to get them before they, hit the beach. I know transfer portal's open, and but practice is over, so maybe they can squeeze me in. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. We're almost at 1,200, not quite where I wanted to be, closer to 1,300, but we are almost at 1,200. So please let your friends and family know we're almost there. Please subscribe. Really appreciate it. Don't forget about you can listen to it as well on Apple and Spotify. I am Dave Schultz, and you've been watching and listening to Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day.